Hey, what's up, you guys? I want to be probably not the first to say this, but one of the few people to say happy first day of October. There is only 30 more days until the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm not talking about Christmas. Halloween, where you can dress up like fun, scary characters, get free candy, and freak out your friends. Also, all the low-budget Halloween movies will be on television. Love it. No, I'm not even kidding. I do love Halloween. Like most YouTubers, I would like to spend the month of Halloween making spooky videos. I'm not gonna post every day. I'm still not gonna do that, but I would like to post some freaky videos when I do, or just, tell scary stories, which is probably what I'm gonna do. And yeah, I thought I'd kick off today by telling a scary story to you guys. This scary story is one that I grew up with. It happened in my hometown of Dixon, Illinois. And this is the story of Bloody Gulch Road. And honestly, this story, no one really, we know now, I guess, kind of what happened, but everyone always had, a different concept as to how this story went. But growing up, I always heard kind of the same thing. I always knew it was a traveling salesman that died. And I always knew that it was the day after a baseball game. I didn't know how it happened. I didn't know who killed him, but I know it was a traveling salesman. Day after a baseball game, he was found in a gulch, in a ditch, outside of town. So I'm going to start off by reading the story that I found online. I did quite a bit of extensive research on this, but I'm gonna start out by telling you a story that I found online that kind of adds up to it. Then I'm gonna tell you, and this is the coolest thing ever. My mom printed this off for me a long time ago. It's from the Lee County Historical Society, so it's got some weight behind it, and it's actually Bloody Gulch Road and Early County Justice. So I'm gonna read that one, and then we'll compare and contrast. But the one online, it is from a video that is the 10 most haunted murder scenes in Illinois. And Bloody Gulch Road is actually number 9, so couldn't be number 1. That's a shame. But it says, and I'm actually going to do this is gonna be my other videos. Spoiler alert! This is gonna be my other videos, is reading all these other ones, but later. Number 9, Bloody Gulch Road, Dixon, Illinois. Bloody Gulch Road is named after a brutal murder that took place in the late 1800s. Popular memory relates that a young man named Moss beat a Bible salesman named Teal to death with a baseball bat in a field near Pump Factory Road. He buried the salesman's body in a drainage ditch that ran under a nearby road, and it was discovered after rain washed some of the soil away, exposing the victim's hand. I'm just gonna also, spoiler alert to later on in this video, they knew something that the Historical Society didn't, and that's that they knew what was uncovered for us to know that Teal was buried there. In the Historical Society and a few other websites that I looked at, they couldn't decipher whether it was the salesman's hand or his boot, but something was sticking up out of the ground, out of the soil, after the rain to let us know that something was there. So they knew something that other people didn't. Whether or not that's true, we don't know, but it's kind of interesting. That'd be really awesome if that was his hand. Honestly, if it was a boot, most people would probably just be like, oh, that's great. Someone just threw a boot in the middle, or in the ditch while they were driving by. Wow, so great. Anyway, the road over the ditch became known as Bloody Gulch. According to legend, a bloody hand can be seen there on dark and stormy nights. Nearby, an abandoned house is also thought to be haunted by the ghost of a murdered girl. And at least one homeowner along Bloody Gulch Road has reported strange activity in his residence. That last part, didn't know about. So, that's a treat for all of us. Bloody Gulch Road is actually haunted all the way through, not just in the Gulch part. I kind of wondered maybe if because it's such like a prominent horror story, if maybe like something you couldn't go there like on a stormy night and see the dead salesman, but no, apparently you see his bloody hand on dark and stormy nights, and an abandoned house with a ghost girl. Yay! Okay, now that has been read, I'll read you guys the Historical Society paper. The road with a strange name. Was it the scene of a battle? An accident? Actually, the name commemorates a mystery and of a murder. This is a story of Bloody Gulch Road, or the Bloody Gulch. In the 1800s, a group of men and boys would frequently play baseball in the early evenings on Pump Factory Road. Things are starting to line up. They played near the pump factory, a stone building where well pumps were manufactured and located by the Illinois Central Railroad overpass. The building is still standing. And this article came out in 2008, so I'm not entirely sure if the building is still standing. It might be. I haven't seen it or heard much of it since I've been down there, but we don't really go down there to go there. So you never know. It could still possibly be standing. Among the players one evening was a farm worker named Moss. Another was a Bible salesman and a college student named Teal. Moss and Teal, though, that's also connecting. That's good. As the game broke up, Moss was heard to say to Teal, "I know where you can sell some Bibles." The two men were seen to walk south up a hill on Pump Factory Road, supposedly so Moss could point out the farm of the customer. Moss was a farmhand in the area and so knew the locality well. Teal was never seen again. A couple of days later, a farm boy was driving a herd of cattle through a gulch, probably heading them to the barn for milking. This gulch ran parallel to Pump Factory Road, about a mile to the east. The gulch included an underpass that ran under the road that lay at right angles to Pump Factory Road. The underpass allowed cattle to go from one pasture to another on the other side of the road. I say road a lot. I don't know who wrote this, but they might have wanted to choose a different word. Anyway, my critiquing out of the way. When the cattle came to the underpass, they refused to enter it, even though it was familiar ground. The farm boy soon saw why. Either a hand or a foot was protruding from the sand of the underpass. See, they didn't know, probably because, well, it wouldn't have been decomposed or anything at the time. It was probably just really muddy. I'd assume. I don't know. An overnight rain had exposed it. The sheriff was called, and the Bible salesman's body was recovered from the gulch. Suspicion immediately fell upon Moss, since he had been seen leaving the baseball game with Teal. The sheriff found Moss on top of a load of hay at a nearby farm. "Come on down, I've got to take you in," the sheriff told Moss. Moss jumped down off the load of the hay and said, "Just let me get a drink of water first." The sheriff watched as Moss went to the well for a drink, then saw him throw something into the bushes. A search of the bushes turned up Teal's watch and ring. Kind of suspicious. "He knew then that he was the one," said Walter Levin, who told this story. "Moss was put in prison for the rest of his life. I've heard my folks talk about it over and over again." Levin, now deceased, farmed in South Dixon Township for many years. It is not known if Moss stole any money in the robbery, but it was learned that the murder weapon was the bat, and it was the bat that Moss was carrying after the baseball game. I'm assuming, obviously. As they passed the Gulch, Moss hit Teal in the head with it, then went nearby for a shovel and buried his victim on the very farm where he himself was employed. For many years after that, it is said neighborhood children were afraid to pass the spot where something terrible had happened. The road over the overpass came to be referred to as the Bloody Gulch Road. So, you can see similarities between the two. The murder suspect, Moss, the deceased, the victim, Teal. Teal was a traveling salesman. Moss was a farmhand. They add up. It was in the same spot. He was buried the same way. It's just that the first one happened to know, his hand that was uncovered. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I know it wasn't super spooky, but it is based on true events, and I've always been super fascinated with that. Like I said, I will, for my other videos, I'll probably just read other spooky stories, and it'll probably, sorry for that face, it'll probably be, stories from around where I grew up, or in Dixon, just because, those are ones that touch me the most. Those are ones that I feel a little more connected to. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you want to see more spooky videos, then please subscribe and turn on the post notification bell, and you'll be reminded of all the amazing stories that are on its way to you. And I have some other really random videos and stories for you to see. So, thanks guys! Have a very spooky, that wasn't very spooky. That was actually very spooky, that face. Have a very spooky rest of October. The best month ever, in my opinion. And just be kind to everybody and stay weird. Bye guys.